Is that
The Old Bridge
buildable?
Park? It's actually zone public. I don't believe you can, you could build
So
like,
that's
say,
not buildable?
you could build like maybe a little visitor center or a heritage
but-
tourism site, but you couldn't build a building there.
And neither is it buildable on A1A
That's
to the right.
conservation area. Yes, that's a
where that,
conservation area.
okay.
Hey, Rick, please.
Wait, a couple things. Explain to me one more time, you said that our lots are smaller or different dimensions or what have you than some of our neighboring cities, thus predicating needing to have on-site parking as opposed in a form of a deck or something. And I guess I've heard a lot of talk about the Hyatt Hotel in downtown West Palm being a 4-story structure or somewhere 47 feet or something like that structure. The one in Del Rey, I think, kind of mirrors the one in West Palm. But we're saying because of the square footage or whatever of our blocks as opposed to some of these other blocks, we would have to go up further to be able to have enough parking for those
Well, it's
down.
not the square footage, it's the dimensions of the lots. To actually get a double loaded garage that has a 2-way traffic on it, you need 68 feet minimum for the deck.
Right.
And you need about 150 feet in length to actually go up one floor. Well, you gotta have a turnaround. And so our lots and blocks, unless it's the entire block, are not overly conducive to a parking garage unless it's really long and skinny, which you do have that opportunity if someone chose to do it in this back area here, because this block here is a lot longer than this one.
Okay.
The real challenge are the blocks that are in the middle, because you can't get a parking garage unless you took the whole piece here. And how our code is written, you'd have to have the building addressing the street be what's called liner buildings, be actively used. It couldn't just be a parking garage like this, sitting in the middle of this. And even then, it's very tight, because this dimension here is only about 120 feet.
And one more thing. In response to a statement I heard somewhere just earlier, talking about traffic, if we were to develop or whatever, but we just spent $6 million or so of our utility dollars rebuilding the casino building, and another $5 million of county's money redoing the park and parking area. Don't we think, or aren't we sure, or don't we hope that that's going to create a whole lot of attraction in the town to go over there and take advantage of that new park and beach and buildings, so we can support those few tenants that are over there to help pay for that building?
Well, there's going to have to be a lot of traffic funneled to the beach to actually have that whole project be self-sustaining and pay for itself. The other thing that we're hoping to try to encourage by being a sustainable community is that you live, work, play in your community. That you live here in this general area, you can work downtown, and then by doing that and offering an opportunity to do those 3 elements together, you wouldn't have to be reliant as much on a car as you are now. Because almost everybody that I know leaves late work to spend their money shopping someplace. And then most of the people that we're trying to ship in to come to our festival are from somewhere outside and are staying somewhere else. One of the ideas we're having, and plus there is a desire to try to connect the Bryant Park area, which is lively a lot of time, to the downtown and encourage more activity in the historic downtown where our traditional businesses are. And there's kind of a little bit of a dead zone here. I mean, it's not overly pleasant to walk along here. There's not much liveliness when it comes to business or activities that would engage the pedestrians, encourage them to walk all the way from Bryant to the historic downtown. That's one of the concepts behind this.
Ms. Rosa?
These plans that you're showing are, your goal is for hotel district, this immediate thing that you're showing us right here, this isometric.
The challenge that was placed before me from the city commission was, what could a hotel district look like? I don't think that Lake Worth can support this many hotels. It's probably who will be here, who will get to the egg first
Right.
and do 1 or 2.
So would that mean
And in this,
that could be residential, it could be condominiums
well,
instead?
no, as our code is written, unless it is a hotel property, you can't get 65 feet. It has to be 45 feet or less.
So that's restricted only if they build a hotel in this area. So each one of these raised buildings you're showing is supposedly a hotel.
Right. This is a worst case scenario, and I don't think it would be 50 years or more before Lake Worth could ever justify having this new hotel room downtown.
And my understanding is that the 65-foot height in this isometric that you're showing us is only for hotels.
Yes,
If somebody wanted to come and build a condominium,
it's
they,
45 and 4 stories. And they also have to do the incentive program for the floors above the second floor.
you need that either a hotel or a
Well, the
private-
incentive program is going to go into effect irrespective of what you do, whether it's hotel, whether it's commercial, whether it's office, whether it's retail, residential.
You're still saying to me that it could only be a hotel that was 65 feet tall.
Right. Only a hotel.
Only,
Could you explain a little bit the difference between this section of the downtown area and the section between Federal and Dixie Highway, and what differences in your plan as opposed to what is being talked about in a charter change, and how the charter change could affect this particular issue?
I'm not going to speak on the charter amendment because it's really outside my purview. Can't speak on electoral issues that are going before the electorate. What I can say is that west of Federal Highways are historic intact downtown. It's fairly low scale. Most of the buildings are historic, or they've been changed over time, but they are of a historic proportion. In the master plan study that was done in 2005, they identified that this area was different from the area west of Federal Highway. There were taller buildings here, many of them were newer. There was already the precedent set by the Gulfstream at over 80 feet and the Fleur de Lis, which is, I think, what is it, about 63 feet tall. And so that if the city were going to encourage or allow a higher intensity, higher height building in the downtown area, this was the place to have it, not to have a river, because our current code allows 65-foot buildings all the way from Gulfview all the way to Dixie Highway, and all along Dixie Highway, north and south. Now granted, the comp plan doesn't allow, but the zoning code does. That's where our conflict we're trying to fix. So that was sort of the difference, is that the flavor of this area is quite a bit different than the area to the west.
But there's no difference in the actual zoning code because you've reduced the zoning codes before. Was there a difference between east downtown and west downtown before?
In the proposed zoning code, there was a downtown east district, a downtown central district, a downtown west district, and a downtown edges district. And each one of them was different, and there were 65 feet height allowed everywhere in that code. And then the comp plan was adopted in 2009, which allowed existing buildings to go to 65 feet, new buildings to go to 40 feet or 45 with community benefit or public benefit, which at that time was defined as a library, public parking garage, elite building, affordable housing, that sort of thing.
So right now, if you built a hotel behind the Gulfstream, it could only be 45.
No, it could be, right, if somebody came in and filed an application tomorrow to build a hotel next door to the Gulfstream, it could be 65 feet tall and 6 stories. And it could cover the whole lot of the building. Whereas this is not covering the whole lot.
And it would have to have parking.
Yes.
Yeah, Dean, you say tomorrow, but tomorrow would be under the old
Code.
existing regulations. Well, I just wanted, on a matter of technicality, what you're showing here and saying existing, you mean proposed. This is the proposed zone, am I correct?
This is the revised zone, which we've been talking
Proposed.
about.
It's proposed
Yes.
because as of this moment, it has not been recommended to the commission,
No.
has not been voted on the commission, so it's not actually fait accompli. It's what is proposed at this moment in time.
Right.
Let's just clarify that.
Hey, Susan?
I know it's confusing, because it confused me when I got here.
My name is Suzanne, and I apologize, but I read a lot. William, I love you, and I understand your education and everything, and I understand that you've got 3 people that can vote you out. But in 1992, there was something the United Nations put out called Agenda 21. When he talks about live, work, and play, they've already designated in Florida in 2009 a thing called vehicle miles traveled. They want you out of your car. They want you into the corridors where we naturally tend to sprawl out on the horizon. they're going for vertical sprawl.